Hello, accounting scholars. We meet again. It's chapter 3. In chapter 2, guys, you probably remember we examined the 4 basic business processes. And just to refresh your memory, that was business organization and strategy, the operating process, the capital resource process, and the performance measurement and management process. We focused on the performance measurement and management process and learned that the balanced scorecard, which is that holistic approach, is used for planning and evaluation of a business. We also learned that operating processes are the profit-making activities of a company that concern revenue and expenses. And we also learned that there are 3 sub-processes involved in operating processes. You know, there's the marketing side of things, that's sales, collection, customer service. That's the first one. There's the second one, purchasing and human resources and payment for services. And then the third one is the conversion. But in this chapter, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to take a look at those activities of these 3 sub-processes, looking closely at the information needed for planning and control. So we're going to kind of use some shorthand here on these processes, since some of them have long names, and we're going to refer to the marketing, sales, collection, and customer service process as the revenue process. We're going to refer to the purchasing, human resources, payment process as the expenditure process. So kind of keep those in your mind, revenue and expenditure. Okay, let's get rolling here. So the first thing we're going to talk about are what are the goals of the revenue process. Again, revenue is all about the stuff associated with getting sales. And as you see on this particular chart, this is a chart of Apple's revenue by their various segments: iPhone, Mac, iPod, iTunes, software. Revenue obviously is the top line of the income statement and a very important factor to all businesses. But the revenue process, how management uses tools and creates tools for monitoring this process, it's all about providing customers with products and services they want at a price they're willing to pay. And you know, that's a bunch of words, but you know, you probably have heard that over and over again when we've talked about marketing, because that is the heart of marketing: providing customers with products and services that they want at a price they're willing to pay. But once you do that, you have to get paid. And you know, we've talked about day sales, accounts receivable, you know, and how to calculate that. And that's a measure of how long it takes your customers to pay you. So the second part of the revenue process is receiving payment from customers in a timely manner. You sell something to somebody. Take the example of the simple candy business. You sell a candy bar and credit to one of your buddies, and he says, "Hey, I'll pay you your $1 tomorrow." But then, you know, he doesn't pay you that $1 tomorrow. He pays you, maybe you don't get paid for a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Well, eventually you have to turn in the candy money, and if he doesn't pay you, you're going to have to take it out of your own pocket. So that's receivable concept of getting paid in a timely manner is very important. And then the third one is providing customer support before and after the sale to ensure future sales. You know, we've all had those experiences. Probably the one that's most germane to all of us is the cell phone. You know, if we have problems with our cell phones, you know, we may call their customer service. If we have a good experience, we'll typically do business with that particular company again. If we have a bad experience, we'll never do business with them. Personally, a great example of this is a problem I had with Sprint several years ago. Their customer service was absolutely abominable. And I had a really bad experience, and I came away from that and said, I will never do business with Sprint again, ever, ever, ever. Okay, let's talk about the 5 primary activities involved in the revenue process. This particular chart is more for illustrative purposes. The example that we want to talk about here, in terms of the 5 primary activities, are as follows. The first one is determining the marketing and distribution channels. And by this I mean the company has to determine whether it wants brick and mortar sales. By brick and mortar meaning, do they want to have stores like in malls? Do they want to be purely an internet business like Amazon? And they have to decide on credit policies, cash versus credit sales, and they also must decide whether they're going to have direct sales or everything's going to be over the phone again or over the internet. And that's all involved in the first primary activity of the revenue process, determining marketing and distribution channels to generate sales. Okay, the second primary revenue process is the receiving and accepting of orders. This is a critical process because companies must determine whether they're going to give credit or not. You make that decision when you sell candy. Am I going to give credit, or I'm just going to do a cash business? Which customers are going to get credit, and whether there's going to be specific goods and services associated with credit. There's also things like sales discounts. Are we gonna incent customers to pay their bills on a timely manner? Hey man, if you pay me tomorrow, instead of charging you $1 for that candy bar, I'm only going to charge you 75 cents. That's a sales discount. And a discount also allows customers to pay less than the full amount. Okay, so that's the second primary process of the revenue process, receiving and accepting orders. Okay, the third primary activity of the revenue process is delivery of goods and services. What we mean by that is a company must ship goods or deliver services to the customer, right? You probably order things online. That's a major process. There's a couple designations in terms of how items are shipped, especially very large items. If you can imagine, if you were buying a large machine, there'd be lots of shipping costs associated with it. So in terms of how companies negotiate those shipping costs, one item, and make sure you get this in your notes, is called FOB destination. That's Frank Other Boy, FOB destination, where the title passes at the customer's locations or the shipping point, or it could be FOB shipping point where the title passes at the seller's location. Okay, so FOB destination, that's where the title passes at the customer location. By title passing, meaning who owns the goods. And FOB shipping point is where the title passes at the seller's locations. That, again, is who owns the goods. Okay, so that is number 3, delivery of goods and services. Number 4 in the 5 primary activities is actually getting payment from customers, receiving payment. The company obviously has to bill the customer, and then they have to record the receipt of payment from that customer. Okay, so we've done 4. The last primary activity in the revenue process is providing customer support. And as we talked about, if a company has lousy customer support, people aren't gonna come back. If they have great customer support, they will. So providing customer support is all about the activities that you use to support customers after the sale by, for instance, providing good customer training. Apple does a great job of this in terms of their documentation. In addition, companies often have to handle a certain level of sales returns when a customer returns merchandise, or also sales allowance when a customer is given a reduction in the selling price because they're not satisfied with the product or service. Okay, guys, so those are the 5 primary activities. Again, the first, determine marketing and distribution channels. Second, receive and accept orders. Third, delivery of goods and services. And again, can we use some funny terms here? FOB destination. That's when the title passes, or when the customer takes ownership at the customer's location, and FOB shipping point, and that's where the title passes or the customer takes ownership at the seller's location. Okay, and then number 4 is receiving payment from customers, and number 5 is providing customer support. So guys, that was quite a mouthful. We'll cut it off here. Have a great night.